I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the At Random podcast. I'm your host Ali and joined as usual by Alex and Andy. How are you guys doing?
Doing fine.
Yeah, doing good. Can't complain.
I actually brought somebody today.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Who is it?
Yeah. Well, you might know him. He's from England.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, no.
I forgot that gentleman was joining today.
Ladies and gentlemen, I brought with me somebody very special that we haven't heard from in a very long time. And I just, all week, I've been tittle-tattling around and been so happy that he's finally back. Ladies and gentlemen, Alfred Hancock is here.
Alfred Mancock. sir.
Mancock, yeah. I always say
right.
Hancock because I think your cock does hang quite a bit because of the weight.
No. Yes, it is quite large, but that doesn't stop little Elizabeth, the Queen of England, from, wrapping
Oh,
her
you sack with the Queen Elizabeth?
skeletal hands around it from time to time.
Oh, God. I didn't know that. Did you sack with the Queen?
Oh, yes. Philip used to watch.
He watches. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sexy. Hey, I didn't know Mr. Mancock
That's
did
actually
that.
how
sort
he
of-
died.
No. Do you have tea and crumpets after?
Oh, yes. I enjoy Philip's crumpet.
Oh, Phyllis crumpet. That sounds so fucking
Christ.
gross. Do you think 2022 will be the year she dies in, by the way?
I really hope so. I'm getting quite bored of her, to be honest.
Who's the victim after that? I'm wondering.
I think she's the victim here, but,
Yeah, there's
She can
no
still go.
losers, only winners in this situation. I get
Yes,
it. All right.
indeed,
Well, it's
indeed.
been great
Christ.
hearing from you again, Alfred Mancock.
Great to be on the show.
Yeah. He listens in live to the show on Discord, and if you want to join in live with us as well, then you can click the link in the Discord and the description down below to join the Discord server, and we can hang out and you can listen live.
Yeah.
It was nice having him on, I think. It's been a while, the old fella. I thought he might have died. It's been about a year since he was last
I
on.
think he calmed down a little bit, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he had a stroke last year. That's why he hasn't been on for a while.
I think he had a few strokes, to be honest.
Yeah, a few pumps of his old chump.
Let's keep them coming. You had an update, by the way, Alex.
I had a what?
An update about a story that we had a few weeks back.
Oh, yeah, just to quickly, if people remember 4 episodes ago, I want to say, we did one when Andy was dying or something. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, probably.
We did the Activision Blizzard one, and we have an update. Microsoft is about to buy them, and it looks
I
like
saw.
the CEO. Yeah, it looks like the CEO of there might actually get kicked out of leading Activision Blizzard.
And
so that's
rightfully
good.
so. I mean,
Yeah,
I
he's
saw
getting a huge
somewhere-
paycheck, but
Yeah, I saw that he was going to stay on for a while, though.
yeah, but for the transition, and then they're gonna
Transition.
yeah.
fuck him off.
But here's the thing. It's going to be like one of those bank things. He's probably going to be let go with a huge fucking, like, a bonus for all the
Oh,
hard
yeah.
work he's done. Like, these people don't get fired and like we do. They
I'm
get
pretty sure
fired
he's-
and get paid to not do their fucking job.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his shares are like probably worth like $500 million or
Yeah.
something. So yeah, but at least he's gone.
I remember
Well,
when the
hopefully
recession started in Belgium, there was this bank director that fucked some serious shit up, and everybody was so fucking pissed because he got fired and was paid 9 million euros for not doing his job. For not doing
I
his
wish I got
job.
paid for being bad at my job.
Yeah.
I'd be terrible at my job if they gave me
Oh
9
man,
million.
I've been telling my boss I suck at my job ever since.
Just give me that 9 million and I'll
Yeah.
leave.
How are the laws and like firing laws in Belgium? Is it hard to fire someone once they have a permanent
Oh yeah,
job?
yeah,
Or
yeah, no,
yeah,
no,
okay.
it's pretty harsh.
Is
Basically,
Belgium's unionized?
it's you basically have to shit in somebody's shoes, like literally, before you can get fired. Like they're pretty strict. It's either that or like genuinely costing the company money. Those are, I think, the only two exceptions to the rules. It's like pesting. What do you call it? Jesus. Like, not annoying somebody, but
Harassing?
Yeah, harassment shit, like male to male, not sexual harassment, but harassment overall. Could be a reason for firemen, or costing the company money because you're not doing your job. That's the only two reasons I know in Belgium that could genuinely cost you your job. There's also a loophole that they always use, which is like a mutual agreement to stop the contract. But if you just...
But they have to pay you out, right?
Yeah, they have. Or you have to fulfill a couple of weeks of work there, and then you get to go and not have to worry about not getting money while you're unemployed. But the thing is, if you refuse to sign that, they can't do anything. They literally have to they have to give you shit work, and you have to refuse to do that work, so that then they can say like, oh, he's not doing his job now. We can fire him.
Fair.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's pretty strict.
I don't know what this has to do with our episode, though.
No, it has absolutely. But it was about your update with the blizzard.
Yeah.
So, well, on a more serious note, let's get into the episode today.
Ooh,
we're going to talk about a piece of shit.
It's another heavy hitter.
Okay, so we're going to talk about one of the biggest pieces of shit, in my opinion. Anders Breivik.
Who?
Anders Breivik.
How the fuck are you gonna say somebody I've never heard about?
Yeah, good. We'll see. Well, good thing
You've
that
probably heard of him.
You
just
know
don't
who it is,
know
and
the
if you don't,
pronunciation.
where have you been? So, Anders Breivik, on the 22nd of July 2011, committed the history's most deadliest killing spree towards his own countrymen in Norway. So at
I know the one. Okay.
Yeah. Did it drop?
Yeah, it just dropped on me who it was. Yeah, I know him.
Well, so just to give a little bit of backstory on who this piece of shit is and why we even know his name today, unfortunately. On the 22nd of July 2011, at 3:18, a white van parked next to Norway's governmental headquarters. A few minutes afterwards, at 3:26, a bomb went off. The van that he was driving contained almost a ton of fertilizing explosives, setting off a deadly blast in the center of Oslo, killing 8 people and injuring 80 people. But it didn't stop there, because this was only the beginning for Breivik on this horrible, horrible day. So after the bomb went off, as the bomb's going off and chaos is ensuing in the city, because obviously when something like this happens, you don't, as a civilian, you don't know what the fuck's going on. The government's like no one knows, and you're afraid that more attacks going to be happen. But he takes a 40-minute drive towards a lake called Tyrnefjorden. I'm really...
Come on, pull out your Norwegian.
No, I'm not Norwegian. Tyrnefjorden, I think it's Tyrnefjorden. Dressed as a policeman, he takes the ferry to a little island called Utøya, where a summer camp for young Labour Party activists is taking place, with approximately 600 teenagers.
Wait, a Labour camp?
No, a Labour Party summer camp.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were like, what is this? Fucking Norway running some Soviet Labour camp?
No. So it's like a camp for the Labour
like junior
Party.
Political wannabes. Yep.
At 17:21, so at 5:21, he opens fire dressed as a policeman. What he does, if you actually ever listen to any of the recallments, he gathers a bunch of them because he convinces the ferryman to take him to this island because of what has happened in Oslo. He's like, yeah, I need to protect the people, so drive me there. So they take the ferry there, they take him there, and he gathers a bunch of people to tell them that he needs to inform them about security as he opens fire on these teenagers.
Yeah.
And for almost an hour, he has a killing spree on this island because they can't get out of there at all. Because there's no boat going, nothing. So people are literally trying to swim to the mainland, which is a very long swim. And some people drown, they get shot in the water. he ends up killing 69 people, mostly kids, on this island.
Yeah.
So yeah, 77 total.
In total, 77 people died on that day, which is one of the biggest terror attack, biggest killing spree by a single person ever. Like, if you compare it, one of the deadliest, the people usually know is the guy in Nevada that opened fire in a crowd, like just sniping people.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, he had more victims, because that guy, I think, ended up killing 60 people.
Yeah.
And obviously Breivik ended up killing
77
people in total.
Yeah.
Which is quite horrible. It was a very tragic day for Norway, for everyone.
I went to Oslo literally a month after that.
Did you?
The first time my mum was like, "Are you sure you should be going?" And like, they already caught him. What, is he going to do it again?
Yeah,
like,
cheap prices. This is an at-random tip that I heard about the other day, which it's dark, but apparently it does work. Go on holidays a month after a terror attack somewhere. Usually it's pretty safe, and it's fucking cheap because no tourists want to go there.
Yeah, but I mean, Norway cheap is still anyone else's expensive as fuck.
But Anders wasn't he like fully estranged from his father? I recollect like his mom. He was from Oslo.
Yes.
As far as I know, and like his dad was from England. And he was like completely estranged. His dad is
Norwegian. His dad is Norwegian, but they split. His dad was he's a consulate in France, I think it is. Yeah. A minister or something. And
so it's the French's fault.
Yeah, the French fault.
That's what you're saying.
no, but the dad tried to fight for custody when he was still quite young, but he lost that battle, so he was raised with his mother alone.
Did you read his manifesto, by the way?
No.
Dude, it's not. Dude, fucking, it's horrible. Read it.
Yeah, no, I'm not interested in giving. Like, I was googling.
I remember his manifesto. It is fucking thick. That is the only. It's like thick with 2 C's. That's the thick. Yeah. That's like what it is.
Yeah, because that was what he did initially before he even started his skills. He posted this to a bunch of places in Europe, like mailed it everywhere. And as he started his attack, like he did a bunch of things like in preparation for this. But more the reason why I wanted to talk about Breivik today, because I don't know if you heard, he went to court to appeal for parole during the week.
This is 10 years after, right? This is like 10 years. Yeah.
So it's been 10 years. Like, it's been this year. It's 11 years since the attack in Norway, but it's 10 years since his sentence. So he was sentenced to 21 years, which is the maximum sentence in Norway. But obviously they can then what is it called? It's like
they can refuse.
Permanent containment. Like, it is up to the court to decide if he is a danger to society or not, and because they can constantly prolong it. So, because here it's the same in Sweden, we don't have a life sentence per se, but if you're dangerous enough, you will be contained. Like, they will constantly. But he, after 10 years, you're allowed to appeal for parole. So he went into court on the 18th of January because, it's been 10 years. And he showed up in court doing the Nazi salute with signs reading, "Stop the genocide against our white nations and Nazi civil war." And this guy...
Wait, stop the... What? Say that again. That made no sense. No. Stop the genocide against
our white nations.
Yeah.
And another sign that said Nazi civil war.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they were different signs. He had a few signs. He had them plastered a bit everywhere, standing there, howling like a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Telling them to release him.
Yeah. And by the way, for the people interested, the manifesto that I was talking about, it's 1,500 pages.
Jeez.
I just looked it up. He sent it to 5,700 people. So it's odd that there's so little known about it. But if you are interested in reading it and seeing how deep this rabbit hole goes, which again, thick with 2 C's, thick. 2083, a European Declaration of Independence. That's what the document is called. That's what you're looking for. If you wanna read that, then go ahead. If you have no time at all, just quickly browse through that, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. He told court that he's refrained from all violence, despite continuing supporting neo-Nazi beliefs. So he's very open about. He's changed his name now, so I'm not going to put it in, because just because you changed your name, you can't escape what the fuck you did.
Yeah.
So fuck you. You're still going to always be the piece of shit that committed this. You killed kids.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. No.
Yeah, I mean...
So the court opened with, obviously, our position is that it is necessary to continue confinement to protect security, and that the imprisonment conditions of Breivik will have no influence in the matter of this parole hearing. So it didn't matter what he would say. They were going to refute him either way, but it's still interesting to see this dickhead having the audacity, because he still doesn't regret what he did. He's like, I've refused violence, but I don't regret what I did. Because he claims that he was brainwashed by online... He claims that he was brainwashed, but... fucking say, I'm getting tongue twisted. He was brainwashed by online radicalizations, but...
Radicalization?
Radicalization.
Like I said, Andy,
that's
fundamentally broken.
Yeah, that's the Spanish tongue right there. That's what you're hearing. Yeah.
Radicalization. I can't say it.
Radicalization.
Yes, by leadless networks of far-right extremists, motivating him to carry out his attacks. This is his quote. The order was to re-establish the Third Reich, and how to do it was up to each soldier. So that's what he said in court, that he's like, I just did what I was told because I was brainwashed.
Yeah. Which is bullshit. I mean, I genuinely think if he got out, he would definitely go to a place where there was like white supremacy going on, and he would probably be like anointed a hero by these people. Like if this guy joined the KKK or something like that, and in some parts of America where it's still active. I think the South in America is still has a pretty
they still have the
radical a pretty. I mean, it's thinning down, but it's like in some parts it's still very active. And I think
the thing is like it's not just in America. If you just look at radical extremist groups in Europe, they're very active at the moment, and you can look anywhere and you can find them. And obviously, I don't know if I pointed it out, like his motivation for the attack was based on Islamophobia, and I think it was something about that the feminism is destroying like Europe's and Norway's fundamental building and stuff like that.
I don't know. I always had a thing for femboys. I don't know. Feminization is fine with me.
Yeah,
we know you did that episode on it.
We even had some people joining the Discord group after that. Remember that?
It was a good episode.
Yeah,
it was good. Check it out. But of course the guy's nuts.
Yeah.
Like you don't just, even if you're brainwashed, at some point before you kill 80 people, don't you sort of go,
yeah.
Like worst case, you drop the bomb, right? You blow up the building, and then you go, fuck. I shouldn't have done that. But then you're like, no, I'm going to drive for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Convince a ferryman that I'm a cop and to take me to this island and then go and open fire on 600 people and kill 70.
Yeah, like he was literally chasing them down throughout that. And it wasn't that he was running, shooting, and just like in a haze and panic. He was walking around, like testimonies from kids that survived this attack on the island. Like he was calmly walking around, just like, just like dropping bodies after bodies. And obviously, because a lot of people, because it's not a super big island, but it's still big enough, so some people didn't know. And all of a sudden, they see a cop man, they're hearing shots, they know something is going on. So they see someone dressed in a cop uniform, they would run towards him because that's what you assume
that's why he was smart.
Yeah, where safety is. And then he would just like drop them.
Yeah.
But there were also like a lot of like, if you do this because you hate Muslims or you hate whatever, like, he killed a lot of, like, I think only a few of them were Muslims per se. Like, most of them were just Norwegian people. Well, like, the Muslims are also Norwegian people, but it's like...
But wasn't it because the Labour Party, which is the more left party there, right, was like very pro-immigration, which he was very against. So by damaging them, he is in a way still impacting the ability of people to immigrate.
No, it's true, but still. Like, there was one kid, like, his... I watched a video about it, and... he had been he swam out, but then he realized that he was going to drown because it was so far, so he had to swim back to the island. And as he's getting up to the island, he has like water up to his knees or to his thighs. He sees this guy because he had seen him shoot someone in the head just like before he started swimming, and he sees them and he just stops and freezes, and he's like, please don't kill me, like begging him not to kill him. And Breivik actually lowered his gun and didn't shoot him. And then in court, he said that because he looked Aryan enough not to kill.
Jesus
But then
Christ.
he ran into him again and he shot him. But he shot him in the shoulder.
Yeah, it didn't look too Aryan then.
No.
He must have fallen over and hit some dirt or something.
Yeah.
Something got on his face, and he was like,
Oh my
no,
God,
not anymore. I mean, what else
pulled us
is
fuck
the
to
reason?
Pete.
Why wouldn't you shoot somebody at first and then like 5 minutes later go like, nah, you know what? No.
I changed
You're
my
going
mind.
anyway.
You're not Aryan at all.
Yeah.
See ya.
Now that I get a closer look at you, pop, pop, pop. No, don't fucking never.
So more what I wanted to talk is about what do we do with these sort of people, and is there a... Because obviously here in Europe in general, I think we're quite strict with our sentence, and especially when it comes to dickheads like this.
I genuinely don't think he had enough years for killing 67?
77 people.
77 people. For killing 77 people, he had 21 years.
Yes.
I genuinely feel he deserves 1 year per life he took.
Minimum.
He
just put a bullet in him and be done
21
with it.
years, and he's trying to get off sooner. I'm sorry, but that's just too soon. I'm not saying kill them. I wouldn't say that because I'm not pro death penalty. Although in some cases, this is the abortion thing all over again. I'd have to go case by case bullshit again.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
that's it. When it comes to the death sentence in general, I think it should be a case by case, very looked into.
Yeah.
Obviously.
What do you do with somebody that says after 10 years, I still do not regret what I did? Like, what do you do with that? You let him rot. You don't have any other option. It's because he hasn't seen what the fuck was wrong with his decision. If he doesn't see what's wrong with, even if he's a calm individual now, that doesn't mean he's going to keep being calm because it took him 10 years to become calm. That doesn't mean in like 10 years he'll become enraged again. Because he'll be introduced into that society that's now even more accepting than 10 years ago of a lot of fucking things that we weren't accepting of 10 fucking years ago. So introducing that person again into a society that's even more accepting to anyone and everyone, and just is more what I feel is our society is heading towards is like a full-on free love sort of fucking thing. Because like monogamy is becoming very strange as well these days. Monogamy is definitely becoming fucking strange. So we're heading towards this.
What do you mean by that?
People are fucking in relationships with 3 people at the same time. We didn't have that 10 years ago. Like full-on relationships,
Polygamy.
like love on love, 2 men, 1 female, 4 fucking guys, 2 fucking females, and they call it a single relationship. It's like normalized. It's beginning to become normalized. What I'm saying is, if you introduce a guy with demented values from prison, from 10 years of prison, who had a prior conviction towards open-mindedness before he even got in jail, and then he comes out and gets into this society where everybody's accepting free love, and we don't give a shit, or we give less shits, I should say, about color and where you're from and all that fucking bullshit. If you introduce somebody to that society, then, I mean, is he going to be able to accept that? Because I clearly think it's no.
Well, I don't completely agree with your argument. Like, I think when it comes to accepting, just like beside the monogamy thing, but like in general, the immigration and racial problems, I think in a sense, we have a big part of the population that is turning towards being acceptant and being like more open. But we also, with that peak, we also have an extreme peak of racism that is much more extreme than ever before. But you're looking up to the ether, Alex. Do you have anything to say?
I think it's more, they're more vocal, but that's just common sense. If things start going more and more the way they don't want it, then you're going to speak out more and more and become more and more radical in your support of your beliefs.
Don't you think that's the generation that but like if they die out, then the new perspective will fall in because it's it's more widely accepted?
No, because hate.
Do you think? I guess
hate.
what I'm asking. I guess what I'm asking is, do you think this is like the last breath of like the racism, the surge of racism that we do feel now is like the last generation of people not accepting?
No.
You think there's still generations out there that are full of...
No, because it doesn't have to do with a generational thing, in my opinion. It has to do with the parent and the fundamental you are as a person. If you're being taught that at home, if you're being raised by racist parents, you will be racist. Because it's taught in your fundamentals. And you will feel push from other parts. Okay, you go.
I immediately disagree with that because I know I've known very strict Muslims that come into our society that I've known personally because like when I had my video store, they came to me to like see if there were any Muslim friendly movies and shit like that. We genuinely had a section for those people on my demand because I had so many people asking for them. And so we introduced those movies and I got to talk to a lot of these people. And they're like very strict about everything. The first, I'd say 5 to 6 years, it felt like. But like after that, they start going out, they start living in our society. They genuinely stop being in that close cluster of what they know, and they broaden their horizon a little bit. And I'm not saying they're eating pork, you know. What I am saying is that
I know Muslims that we know Muslims that don't give a fuck. I know Muslims that you're not supposed to drink, you're not supposed to smoke, but they do that. No, but this is completely different. A religious household where something indoctrinated into you, like religion and racism are two completely different.
Oh, do you think?
I don't entirely agree.
I don't think so, Ali.
They are rooted in each other. They have roots in it.
Yeah.
Like, religion has roots of racism, but obviously we've discussed racism before, and I think racism is something inherent to all people in a sense. Like we all people who say I'm not racist, bullshit. We all racist at some point in our lives.
We have prejudice.
Yes, we do. And I think that is one of the most important things to, if you're going to fight racism in a sense and like work against racism, you need to accept your own biases at times where you have been racist and that sort of thing. But what I mean is like usually those fundamental teachings, as in, because with religion, let's say if you put it in the thing with Muslims, like they're very strict and you can't do this and you can't do this. And as a teenager, if you grow up with a religion, but then you start seeing your friends doing these other things that you're not allowed to do, that builds a curiosity. With racism, it's not that you have set rules, you're not allowed to do this, la la la. It's just, it's a teaching.
Could be don't you dare date a black guy, you're not my daughter anymore. Like that does happen.
Yeah. No, I know. Believe me, I know.
That's why I compare religion to racism as well, because I don't think that racism, it's a systemic belief that one thing is beneath you, like a religious person, like let's say a Catholic person would say a non-believer is, they wouldn't say this, but that's basically what it comes down to. A non-believer is beneath me because I'm going to heaven and they're going to hell, and they have to show sympathy, blah, 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 and suck off a couple of kids while I'm at it. It's the Catholic fucking church. What else they gonna do? But the thing is, that's why I compare racism to a religion, because you're saying there's no strict rules. I am saying there are strict rules. You don't date black people. You have to hate. You have to follow the right Facebook groups. You have to abide by my law, because that's what religion does. Religion doesn't come from the Bible. Religion comes from parents, just as racism comes from parents. It's not the word of God. That's never what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about religion, I'm talking about what people are dumb enough to teach their kids.
Yeah, but I think in a sense that it's easier to rebel against religion than what it would be to fundamental values that you've been taught that certain people are beneath you.
I'll give you a different... I've said this to you before, Ellie, that I think you will never, ever, ever get rid of racism, because bigotry and prejudice is part of human nature. And it is explainable by human physiology. Yeah. We grew up humans are still animals. We evolved in small family groups of 50 people, 40 people. And they used to be, back in the day, your family. Or maybe you had a bigger village of 2 or 3 families, 120, 150 people. And you were taught to be scared of the next village because you didn't know, are they there to harm you? And that's still in the human brain, in the background, in your subconscious.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot get rid of racism. Of course, you can minimize it and at least be aware if you're doing it.
Yes.
And take steps. But these people that live in a fantasy land say, I'm never going to be racist. It's bullshit as well.
Yeah. But I'm not saying that we're going to get rid of racism if, that's, as I said before.
Yeah, but I don't even know if it's really taught. It's just something that it's just there.
Yeah.
It can be taught for sure, but it's also
but I'm talking about obviously in extreme cases like this. Obviously, he wasn't taught by his mom, but he was
taught by the French. We established this early on.
No, but obviously with Breivik, obviously in these extreme cases, but the thing is, these extreme cases are quite not all of them go to the extreme that Breivik went to. And
like I said, I think 2 weeks ago, some people are unfixable in my mind. This guy was probably just a bad egg from when he was a kid. He has so many deep-rooted psychological issues. You can't fix this guy. Just
do you
put
have
a bullet
any information on what the click was with him? What?
Oh, the psychologists have a bunch of things. They've analyzed him. He I think when he was 4, it got alerted by the social security that there's something going on with this kid. You're not quite sure, but then they let him go. There was some mistreatment by the mom, sexual abuse, not necessarily but she exposed him to certain things. I think would do have sex in front of him or that sort of shit at a quite early
watch
age.
You pussy. This is what a real man does.
Yeah, I don't know exactly, obviously, because I didn't want to get into it. But he has he's a narcissist. He has a narcissistic personality, which is quite obvious in the way he carries himself. Yes, but also he was quite secluded. You can see his narcissistic tendency throughout his he was a very secluded person, but he was also well aware in the spaces that he was in, and he decided from a quite early age he joined these very neo-Nazi parties and was involved in that sort of, and he wanted to make a name for himself.
But if his parents failed in his teaching and because I do think he finished school, if I'm not mistaken, but if his parents weren't there to nurture and care for him, and he sought his parenthood from these neo-Nazi groups that taught him a whole different wide variety of different types of thinking, then could that not account for an upbringing in racism?
Yeah.
I mean, by definition, if your parents fail to be there for you, and he's neglected as a child, and he finds his own quote unquote parents within groups and within these extreme right circles, then one could argue that he didn't have his upbringing within a very racist. It has to come from somewhere. You're not born racist. When my kid sees a black kid in school, he's not he's black. He's fucking, yay, I love chocolate. Let's go play. He's not, he doesn't think that way. No, but genuinely, kids do not think that way. my kid, like, the other day, like, picked the only fucking black kid on a playground. And I was the proudest fucking parent at that moment because this kid was genuinely playing alone and the parents were sitting alone as well. And there was like one spot left. And so I sat with the parents and I was talking to the parents and they were like talking about the story, how they come to Belgium and shit like that. And we were having a good time. And my kid just like picked the one colored kid that was on that fucking playground and just chucked a bucket of sand at him like it was fucking nothing. And I was like, that's my kid. And not because like kids do not think the way, it could have been a white kid. It could have been a fucking brown kid. It could have been a fucking Chinese kid. He wouldn't give a shit. That bucket of sand would have gotten thrown. And that's what I'm saying is like, I think if you miss that fucking part of your education, like my kids get, I mean, you know, and
I
you
think
find these roots.
He found a sense of belonging within these groups more than a lack of maybe parenting, because I think as a child, when you deprive them of certain stuff, I think eventually it's not that you're trying to find nurture within, maybe not all cases, I'm not saying all cases, but obviously he's has this narcissistic tendency behaviors, because it's one of the very big traits that he had. So he wanted to find a place where he would be heard, he would be respected, and like he had a place.
Yeah, but then again, to go back, like with a religious cult or sect or group, really, they like to take in these people that are at that time vulnerable and are looking for something, and then they go, hey, yeah, you come with us, we'll show you the way, and we'll be really nice to you, and we'll make you think the way that we think, and we'll make you behave the way that we do.
Most cult leaders are narcissists, and they know how to do that. Like, it's very interesting to see what type of people do what sort of things.
Seems to me like this is a guy that it doesn't matter. Like, he is at a point like he's not fixable. Is he now like 40 or something?
Yeah.
Like, you can't let him out and be like, no matter how much therapy this guy goes to, he's still going to have these.
I was going to ask that. Do you genuinely think at a certain point in your life that whatever is in your head that you've been taught and teach throughout your life, that it's set so fucking hard in stone that it can change?
Personally, I don't think so. I think like once you, I don't know, reach your early like 20s and you've kind of been molded as a human, like as an adult, you can learn to cope with things and avoid, you know, if you're an alcoholic, you can learn how to like get away from a situation where you're going to drink when you're recovering. But deep down, you still have that like inner urge to do it. You just learn ways, but you can't learn ways about your entire life to just fake everything. Some people can, but they still have that inner, like they could still snap at any minute and just regress back to how they were.
But if that's
it's a facade. It's not like a true healing. I don't think so.
Yeah, but that's another thing, like, because actually psychiatrists that have studied him from his initial trials when it all happened, they say that he doesn't pose a danger to society anymore. So by their means, they do give him a green light to literally be released.
So he said, I'm not sorry about anything I did, and these doctors go like, oh, he's fine.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be sorry about killing kids. You just have to promise
acknowledge it happened and then never do it again.
I
swear. Other thing, the other aspect that I think that we also are not thinking about is we see him as a horrible person and everything, but I think that a lot of people also don't think if he ever does get released, let's say if they were to give him this parole after 10 years, do you think he would be able to just walk in Norway like nothing happened?
Yeah. Like I said, I genuinely think, I genuinely think, but then within the first 24 hours of him being released, unless there's like a notice of him not being able to leave the country, within the first 24 hours, he's going to be somewhere where he's just praised as a fucking god.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and by the way, can you retake that line where you said we view him as being a horrible person? Can you just say he's a piece of fucking shit?
What?
You said, we view him as a horrible person. I think it's safe to say that he is a horrible person. I know,
but that's the thing is he is a piece of shit. But like, despite of that, like, because usually we just like you say, how do you put it? We all know him for the shit that he did, and everyone obviously no one wants to see him get released. But hopefully. Also you have to think of like, since the psychiatrist in a sense also basically already said he is good to go. But then obviously there are other factors that you need to count into. But even if you just like look aside from that, if he was to be released, that's more what I meant. That in a sense, it is a risk for his own life. So for sometimes I'm like, just release him. Let them lynch him.
I don't think so, though, to be honest.
That he wouldn't be killed?
I don't think so. Like most sane human beings, even if someone murders, like, after 10 years after they've murdered your child, you're not going to go and then ruin your and your entire family's life again by murdering the person that killed your child.
It's usually not
because you're sane. You just go, you know what?
Dude, it's never the people that have a life. It's usually if retaliation like that happens, it's usually the 80-year-old dad who has like 10 years left on his fucking on his little book that buys a fucking gun and knows he's gonna be there at that time, and he's standing there waiting, and then he's like, hey, remember me, you killed my son, and then pop and
I wouldn't even say that it's actually the people directly being victims of what he did.
I think it is.
I think it would be more of a lynch mentality for people and like groups that feel attacked for the things that he stands for. And obviously he's a face in Norway for neo-Nazism and an extremist. So, and obviously he attacked the Labour Party basically. So obviously, and because he was Islamophobic, so he hates the Muslims in a word. And I'm not saying, but like radical, like young groups of Muslims could be very angry when they see him. Not necessarily that they were direct victims.
The reality is he would be released into protective custody, even if he got out. Yeah. And like I said, I don't think most sane people would do that anyway. And even if they did, all they would do is make him a martyr, and then he'd get even more elevated in this right-wing
That's what I said.
So.
I even think for his own safety, that court hearing about his early release, his 10-year release, wasn't even in a normal court. I think it was in some sort of gymnasium or something.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So like I genuinely do think like if they would decide to release him, that the government would hold a hand over his head, unfortunately, because he has rights as a human, apparently less rights than the 77 kids that were fucking
more rights. Yeah. He has more rights. They'd probably just buy him his ticket. Like, where do you want to go? France, Spain, Greece, get the fuck out. Here you go. You're out of the thing. Here's some money. Get on the plane and go.
Yeah, like they would be able to fucking do that like that. Another country would want
probably would. Wait, he's a European citizen.
Have one asshole working in the airport and just send him to Iraq or Iran or something like that. He's gotten on the wrong plane. Jesus. Whoops.
Yeah, but like, see, this is a case where I'm very pro death penalty for a case like this.
Yes.
Because it is like irrefutable. Like, he's admitted he's done it. He's been on camera. It is irrefutable. This guy did this.
Yeah.
Didn't he even like give a Hitler salute in court?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yep.
Yeah. He hailed in court and everything. Like, it's at some point you just say, you know what? Like, why even pay money for this guy? Let's just like take him out the back and just see ya. Yeah. Like, don't even put him in prison.
Yeah.
To begin with. Like, I'm not saying it should be used because you killed 2 people. This guy killed 77. Irrefutably. Yeah. There is no.
Yeah. This wasn't
fucking Stevie Wonder could know that he did it.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell, it is irrefutable.
Yeah.
And he admits it. He's like, there's no.
Yeah, no, he admits
there's no gray zone here.
But it's the fact that after 10 years he says that he has no regret about what he did that fucking strikes me as being so fucking.
I think if anything, it's that narcissistic. He knows he's never going to get out, but he knows it's going to cost the country money, and like he's going to raise his profile again, like bring it up again. So it's just a fuck you. Like, he knows he's never getting out.
It's like this guy in what was it again? Was it Japan or China? I can't remember. The guy that ate the Dutch girl.
Japan.
Ishomura or something like that.
Yeah.
His name was, I think.
I
can't remember what. Yeah, the cannibal. A very widely known case. Once every like 5 or 10 years, he'll He'll cover newspapers over there. That's unreal. Saying shit like, "Oh, maybe I'll have to eat somebody else," and
he's a celebrity in Japan.
Yeah, he is a fucking celebrity. So maybe it's just like that, like not wanting to be forgotten. Because like a spree killing like that, there's different kinds of spree killings. You got the spree killings of people that just lose their fucking shit. Then you got the mental case spree killings, like the guy with the sniper in America. That lost his marbles. I shouldn't say that. I mean, the guy was like had PTSD like no fucking buddy else I've ever heard about. So that was a widely covered case. And then you have guys like this, like the idealists, spree killers, I would call them, like people that have, like the guy that, where was that again? Where the guy just went into a mosque and shot everybody up.
New Zealand.
Was that New Zealand?
Yeah, in Christchurch, I think, wasn't it?
So those are like the idealist fucking spree killers. I think there's a big difference between the three, and I think they should be treated separately. Like the guy that lost his shit, like you can understand that, and 9 chances out of 10 that guy will understand after 10 years in jail, like, oh fuck, he's not gonna ask for being
himself.
Released.
So it's like he knew what he did, and he was like, fuck this.
He got it. He understood, like, I'm a piece of fucking shit. I need to get off this planet as quickly as possible. Which, you know, sorry for the people he left behind, but like, good on him. Sorry to say, but that's my opinion. Not the ones of the podcast, of course. That's my opinion. Then you got the guys that have PTSD. What do you do with them? Like, you take care of these people. They're sick. They're sick. They're fucking mentally sick. You take care of these people. And then the idealist, like the last one left, what do you say to a human being that has lost his will to be human? Because I genuinely think to kill 77 people, you have like people like Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy and all that shit that willingly kill people because they believe in something. I think you have to lose a part of your humanity. And the question is there a place for a monster within the human race? I think the answer is unequivocally no.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, at the end of the day,
that's my opinion.
Yeah, like, do you belong in a society? Can you fit? At the end of the day, it's human civilization is based still on society, right? Like, everyone has a role to play, and if you're stepping that far out of the line that you're just there to kill people, then you're not needed. Then you should go. We should just take you out. The rest of society should say, you're a deadbeat, you're a leech. Get out of our
Especially in
society.
these days, because I do believe that we are evolving socially in the last 10 to 20 years. We've been evolving socially at such an extraordinary rate that we've stagnated, like since the 60s, I believe. We stagnated all the way through the 90s, all the way through the 80s, all the way through the 70s. We stagnated there. And then the 2000s hits, and like social interaction has changed so much. So fucking much.
Thanks to the beauty of the internet. I think that has a big reason why.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it also enables people like, is it Anders or Andreas Breivik?
Anders
Breivik, to then also meet other people to radicalize. So it's a it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
No.
But in the end, it's a net positive because it has allowed people to sort of cast a wider net, right? All of a sudden you can talk instantly to like someone in Belgium or someone in Australia and someone in Africa and someone, and so it broke down those barriers that used to be there of like, oh, that's that fucking weird guy from like Mozambique. Don't talk to him.
Do you think martyrdom has something to do with the non-decision to not give him the death penalty?
What?
They don't have the.
Do you think martyrdom? Yeah, I know, but I wonder why. Like, there has to be exceptions to the rule.
No.
Like with the Beast of Belgium, you remember the episode of The True that we did, right? Yeah. So, wait, did we do episodes on The True?
No, you didn't.
Oh, you brought him up though, I think.
Yeah.
I think you brought him up though.
Yeah, I think I discussed him on a couple of episodes actually. But the Beast of Belgium
you've mentioned him, but you did a series on another podcast.
Yeah. I can't remember which one. But the Beast of Belgium was a pedophile here in Belgium that locked children up and then basically, he had his way with him through manipulation and shit like that, telling them like, oh, your parents don't want to pay your ransom and I'm going to get you out of here. Don't worry. I'm the only one that cares about you. And that led to sex and killing them and blah, 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 blah. Whole fucking backstory to that. But on next to that, this guy has not gotten the death penalty because that is illegal in Belgium as well. What he has gotten is a life sentence, which is basically a death penalty by just incarceration. Yeah. It's being incarcerated for the rest of your life until you die. Yeah. So that's not a death penalty. It's just you're gonna have your natural life. You're gonna have it up in bars. I genuinely think if you're not gonna go death penalty, then that's the way you want to go.
Yeah, but because with the sentence and because obviously Norway and Sweden, when it comes to certain aspects of our society, they're quite similar, and the legal system is one of them. In Sweden, you don't have the death penalty. In Norway, you don't even have a life sentence. 21 years is the longest sentence you can get. Like on paper, this is your sentence, 21 years. But in cases like Breivik, for example, they will probably just continue to...
They have the right to just to never give you parole. They can just be like, no parole for you. They could do life, no parole, like without actually being a life sentence.
But they can't in paper say, you're incarcerated for life, you're never getting out. But you get 21 years, but we probably will never let you out because we will keep finding reasons to keep you behind bars.
See, yeah, but that's the thing, because Alex said go for the death penalty, and I agreed, but then I started thinking about the actuality of a death penalty for a guy like this. If you would do it to a guy like this, imagine the martyrdom you would give this guy.
No.
Like in the circles of racists, what a god he would be. They fucking killed him because he had views and everybody else gets to have their views and we don't and blah, 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 blah. That would create like a camaraderie. So I don't think in a case like this, especially if it's about extremism like that the death penalty would be the right solution. I genuinely think keeping him locked up would be the right way to go here.
Yeah. No, but like in the sense why I think in a case with this very particular case, why I would further agree with the death sentence is because at the end of the day, he's taking advantage of the government by being like he gets to live a life of luxury in a sense, being imprisoned, costing the government money. So in that sense, like you're already leeching of a country that you've hurt so deeply. So why, like, I would want to kill you, like, because like you shouldn't just be able to get away with that. And like, yes, okay, you don't have your freedom, you don't have this, but you still you're still breathing, you still get fed, you still have a bed to sleep in. And if you know anything about Norwegian like incarcerations and Sweden as well, like they're quite luxury if you put it like that compared to...
left this out. This guy actually went on a hunger strike because he didn't have a PlayStation 3 in jail. He went on a hunger strike because they didn't give him a PlayStation in his first couple of years in prison.
Well, okay, fucking good.
Yeah.
No Mickey D's for you, then, bitch.
But I think that there is a lot of evidence. So if you look at the US, the death sentence is almost always more expensive than life in prison because they go through all the courts. They just keep appealing, and it costs like, $10 million to go to that court, then $20 million. Then you go to the high court, and it costs like $40 million.
Yeah. But obviously, because the cases of that, most of the times they're quite easy to poke holes into them, and that's why it's so different. But I think in this case, where obviously that he fucking did it, just taking out the bag and put a bullet in his head.
Doesn't matter though. You still have the right to keep appealing.
But so still,
you just keep appealing.
But what about the martyrdom
then? I don't know. Like,
the best thing the cops probably could have done was just kill him when they found him.
No, because
they just shot him on the spot.
No, but they couldn't because he dropped his guns and he was like,
but I'm saying the best thing they could. I'm not saying. I'm just saying the best thing. Oh, he pointed a gun at us. Oh, well, let's just.
There's no reporter there to take pictures.
Exactly. And if two cops say, or he had a gun, he pointed it at us, he just kills. Even if they have proof that he dropped his gun, it's going to disappear. They're going to be like, don't worry about it. It's all good.
There was a young guy here not so long ago in my hometown that got arrested by some cops, and arriving at the police station, he was arriving at the hospital, he was declared dead. Yeah, because apparently during the arrest, he fell and hit his head on the table. This guy was known for very aggressive behavior. This guy was known for like enticing cops to fight and shit like that, and like all the horrible. Like he wasn't a nice person. I'm not saying that. It's still a human life, but like he was not the sort of person. Yeah, he was not the person that was given the best cards in his life as well. Like he was like predestined to have a shitty fucking life. So the explanation that the cops give was, he fell and hit his head on the table. Basically, that's what the news stories were written. I mean, if you have a guy like this, like cops, please, no one will blame you when you shoot the guy that had killed 77 people.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be
and then
like,
you reduce the chance of being a martyr.
We won't be like, oh, he'll never see justice. We'll be like, it's good.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
I would have done it too.
Good.
Because then you reduce the chance of a martyr, because now he's got his time in court, all this he's got to explain why he did it, and then and then people
let's
go,
not forget,
that's why he did.
Let's not forget all the taxpayers' monies that went into this, because that cost a fucking shitload of time, and he's still costing taxpayers' money.
Yeah, and the police could have done a 2-minute investigation. Why'd you shoot him? Oh, he pointed a gun, right? And they're like, well, he put it down. Like, no, he pointed a gun. And they're like, yep, done. Yeah. Case closed. Let's all go home.
Knock.
Yeah, exactly. Boom. Stamp of approval, done.
Sometimes it can be more simple, guys, like in the right circumstances.
Sometimes police don't do the right thing, right, cops?
Yeah.
When someone kills 77 people, just shoot them. I don't care if they're on the ground, like, curled up in a ball.
By the way, this at random podcast advice is not meant for Americans. Like,
no, I said if he kills 77 people,
you guys, you've done your share. Now you need to back off a little bit.
Look, okay, don't shoot him if he has a busted tail light and he's covered. I'm saying killed 77 people. Then feel free.
Maybe we should put a number on it. Like from 25 and up, you can just drop and we'll just pretend nothing
It's pretty
happened.
obvious. The only guy on the island with a gun. Don't have to be fucking rocket scientists to work that one out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's it. I just wanted to discuss a little bit about this asshole and our opinions just in general when it comes to sentences and what you do in such a polarizing case. Because
I told you right there, it didn't even need a sentence.
Yeah, so in summarization, by the way, what's the prognosis here from Alex? I'm just like, what overall, what do you feel? What's in your heart with this guy? Like, genuinely.
He should have been shot.
Keep it in mind everything we talked about and the martyrdom and all that fucking bullshit. Like, what's your prognosis? What should
he'll just never be released. They'll just keep going. Every 10 years, he'll bob up. Can I come out now? And they go, nope. And we'll just keep
him locked up.
Yeah, until he dies in 40 years or whatever. He'll just keep happening.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm on the same side. I'm on that same side. And Ali, you want to kill him yourself? Sacrifice him to the gods? Maybe?
Yeah. No, like obviously, like he's never going to be released. Hopefully, and
But I'm not asking that. I'm asking what your personal opinion. What's in here, Ali?
Like we said, it's like the scenario of him being killed by the cops would have been the best one initially.
Yeah, I think so. I genuinely think so.
Yeah. But obviously, since he's already done it, like there's no point because you do have the problem with making a martyr out of him.
But if we make a time machine, the cops could go back.
Yeah.
Wait, but did he kill cops? Were there cops?
No, he killed like security guards that were at the island. Those were the two initial people that he killed. He killed the first 2 shots that he fired were like 2 security guards and the head leader of the convention, the little.
He was a pretty good marksman, right? Like he was a pretty good because most people, if you gave him a gun, said, "Here's 30 bullets, go try and shoot people like more than 5 meters away." They'd probably miss like 80% of them.
Yeah,
at least.
no, he did try like his whole how he purchased the guns and like there was some bullshit about him trying to smuggle guns from Prague and other stuff. But he because the same thing with the fertilizer, he bought a whole farm. Like, he set this up, like, his planning of this thing.
How intelligent is he? Because he seems like a guy that wasn't just like some complete nutter. Obviously, he was nuts, but like he seemed quite intelligent because he had very thought through, like, do this and then they do this, and everything was like tied up nicely.
Yeah, he's also has a hint of autism in there as well. So
he's very thorough in his mass murdering.
Yeah. So obviously, like, he purchased a farm to be able to have an excuse to have that much fertilizer, to then have it detonating a bomb in Oslo. But also he had a Glock and a semi-automatic rifle, which were the guns that he owned. I can't remember where he got them. Like, there was something about him being in Germany through Prague, trying to get guns through, getting permits, but he would frequent shooting ranges, and he also claims his marksmanship on being a COD player. Is a COD, and World of Warcraft. Prime shit.
It makes sense because I mean, shooting, like, people are running away. It's not like they're just standing like a fucking target like for target practice. People are running and screaming, and he picked off 68 of them or 69. I mean, it's good. Must 69. Be a good shot.
Like, there were 600 in total on the island, approximately.
He killed like 10% of that island.
Well, most of the killing were initially, like, when he first got in, because he gathered them all in an area and then he opened fired. But then also, like, there was another spot where he killed like 14 and one because they were hiding under a thing and he just opened up fire.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
If by the way, if you want to see more about this and what actually happened, you can. I think you can find on YouTube.
There's a lot of information. This was obviously something that happened 11 years ago, so there's it's been done a few times. There's a lot of good podcasts. There's stuff where they dive into the mental state, but it also recollections from survivors of the attack on Utøya. There's one particularly, if you're a Swedish listener, or Norwegian as well, is a Swedish from P3 Dokumentär, which is one of the first one that I heard. It came out, I think, in 2015, and it's quite a horrible one because they talk to a lot of the survivors, and they like minute by minute they go over what happened on the island.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah. So there's a lot out there if you want to, because obviously it did happen, and it's widely covered. But also in a sense, I think as I was researching to try to find more about the sentencing and stuff, like in the great scheme of mass killings, he is not a very well-known name in a sense, which kind of surprised me.
Because he's from Norway. Like,
yes.
Honestly. If you did it in the US, you'd know about it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, I find it so horrible that, in a sense, good, because, I don't know, it's not good to give him, in a sense, because this is what he wants. He wants people to talk about him. But he's not known. Like, he's not known as so many of the other killers in the US, because, I don't know, maybe it's because the world romanticizes anything that's American, and we're like, oh. But whatever. Okay, let's just wrap this up. Well, thank you for listening today. I'm sorry it was a bit of a heavy hitter, but it's important to have these conversations and not forget about the horrible things people do and what we can do to change. And obviously racism is not something that we can get rid of, but it's something that we can fight against. But you need to have conversations and not be stupid and not be biased to your own racism. Like, we have to talk about it. You want to say something?
No, I mean, there's two ways of looking at it, I think. Who was it again? The guy with the beautiful voice, black actor.
Morgan Freeman,
yeah. He said, stop talking about racism. Just don't bring it up. Never talk about it. Like, if you stop talking about it, it only exists because people keep talking about it. Maybe it's time that we try a different approach and stop talking about it. I've never really thought that true about stopping to talk about it, but like, seems like a pretty valid point coming from a guy like him. Like, as long as you're talking about it, it still exists, right? It's like, keep on talking about assholes like this, and their infamy will remain. Stop talking about it, and they just die in the ancients of history.
Yeah, Ali.
there's two ways of looking at it, and maybe one's right, maybe the other's right. I think it's a personal matter. I do think Ali has a more valid point because you've genuinely had like to deal with racism and stuff like that. So I do think if you've been a victim of racism, then I mean, you want your voice to be heard. Like, I definitely understand that. Yeah, it's a fickle thing, racism. It's probably going to be brought up here, though, so we won't stop talking about it.
It's true.
But, yeah, it's a shitty fucking thing. Just don't be dicks to each other. Love each other sometimes. And if you can't be nice, then don't leave your house and drink whiskey.
And join the Discord server, because you're more than welcome.
Yeah, fall asleep and try again tomorrow. Oh, and give up on your hopes and dreams, people. I don't like you. You're all pieces of shit. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Link to the Discord server in the description down below. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram at @random.podcast or at.random.podcast.
And on Twitter, we are at_randompod.
There you go. And on that lovely note,
see ya.
Bye.
Bye.